Most people don't fall short of their full potential because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. Most people fall short because they hesitate, they wait, they sit on the sidelines and expect everything to be handed to them on a silver platter. And this is why pushing to the front really matters. This book isn't just about success in the shallow sense of money, status, or fame. This book goes a lot deeper. It talks about character, it talks about initiative, it talks about self-respect, self-development, effort. And I'm going to be very clear here, and I want to frame this properly. This is not a quick book summary, this is a deep dive. Don't wait for extraordinary opportunities, seize common occasions and make them great. Everywhere around you is opportunity, but you need to grab the average and make it great. This is so important. Weak men wait for opportunities, strong men make them. If you think about the 99% of the population, they sit on the sidelines waiting for everything to be handed to them on a silver platter. But the people who get ahead in life, the people that push to the front, are the ones that make their own opportunities. Open eyes will discover opportunities everywhere. A lot of the time, we're going through life like robots and we can't physically see what's going on around us. So open your eyes and grab the opportunities that are laying right before you. Wanted a man who will not lose his individuality in a crowd, a man who has the courage of his convictions, who is not afraid to say no, that the world says yes. See, if you think about success, a lot of the time, the most successful people in the world, the wealthiest people in the world are the ones that do what's contrary to popular belief. So it's so important to not go with the crowd. The people that go against the crowd are the ones that get ahead. We are largely copies of our environment. We are under the perpetual influence of the suggestion of our surroundings. So it's so important to understand that your environment is molding you to the individual you are. It's so important to recognize that. So what environment are you currently placing yourself in? Because if you're putting yourself in an average environment, what do you think you're gonna be? You're gonna become average. I have intentionally positioned myself in one of the most expensive streets in South Australia in the city of Adelaide. And the reason I've done that is because I'm surrounded by wealth, success, and prosperity. When I drive down my street, I see Lamborghinis, I see Ferraris, I see Rolls Royces, I see Bentleys. So it's so important to recognize what is your environment doing to you, because it's gonna shape you, it's gonna make you, and it's also gonna break you. People save money for years in order to go to Europe to visit the great art centers and to see the famous masterpieces, when they have never really seen the marvelous pictures painted by the divine artist and spread in the landscape, in the sunset, in the glory of the flowers and plant life right at their very doors. So what I love about this is most people can't see the beauty that is around them. It's so important to be able to step outside, inhale the fresh air, appreciate what God's given us, what the universe has given us. Go outside, watch the sunset, watch the sun rise, pay attention to the beautiful nature around you, because there is beauty around you. You don't need to travel to see the beautiful things around you. So you can capture that at a fraction of the cost. And there's no point of you going overseas to capture the beauty if you can't see it before you. You need to learn how to see the beauty around you, so then when you travel, you're able to appreciate it far more. The secret of success in life is for a man to be ready for his opportunity when it comes. Disraeli. I've heard the statement that good luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So the person who is prepared, they have that opportunity and they can grasp that opportunity and it looks like good luck. But there's no such thing as good luck. Good luck is literally preparedness in each opportunity. So it's important for you to prepare for the opportunity when it presents itself so that you can grab it and then it's seen as good luck by the people around you. Find out what the world needs and then supply the want. If you think about the most successful people in the world, the wealthiest people in the world, the people that get to the front, that push to the front, they're the people that understand the needs of the people around them, the societies around them, the countries around them, the world around them. And the greater the need that you can fill in life is going to determine the level of success and wealth and prosperity that you accumulate. It's very important to understand that. So find a need and fill the need. We cannot, all of us perhaps, make great discoveries like Newton, Faraday, Edison, and Thomson, or painted immortal pictures like Angelo or Raphael. But we can all of us make our lives sublime by seizing common occasions and making them great. What I love about this is we can make our world beautiful. So sublime is beautiful or inspiring. We can make our life beautiful by making the common and making it great. So for me, I live by the beach. Every morning I walk outside, I pick up sand and I feel that sand. I inhale, I appreciate the beautiful nature, I smell the ocean and I jump in the ocean. And I do that to literally appreciate what I have. And then I can make these common things great that most people can't see. That's so important to understand. Most people can't see the beautiful things around them. And if you don't live by the beach, you could go outside and smell the air off the trees or listening to the raindrops off the roof. But what this is teaching you to do is capture the average situations and making them great. That's so important to understand, because we can make anything in life great, but we need to be able to recognize that there is beauty and there is opportunity everywhere around you. 1 hour a day withdrawn from frivolous pursuits and profitably employed would enable a man of any ordinary capacity to master complete science. See, I love to call this my hour of power. So I love to read a minimum of 1 hour every day. And if I'm reading on average 7 hours a week, what do you think the average book is? The average book is between 6 to 8 hours to read. So if I'm reading a book a week, that's 52 books in a year. And think about if I was to study self-development or personal development, 52 books, or wealth creation, 52 books, or philosophy or science or psychology. The thing is, your hour of power is going to set you up for success. The people that get great, they recognize this hour and they use it wisely. Beware how you kill time, for all your future lives in it. If you want to become successful, it's important to pay attention to how you're using your time. Use your calendar wisely. Block out the high value priority tasks because they're going to determine your future. If a man empties his purse into his head, says Franklin, no man can take it away from him. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. See, what I love about this is how often you see a person who's invested in all this personal development, they build a massive business, they might go bankrupt, but then all of a sudden within 24 months or 12 months, they've developed their wealth back again. This is because when you invest in your mind, when you invest in knowledge, nobody can take away from you. And the thing is, you can bounce back faster and create greater wealth, success, and prosperity in all of your life. The greatest thing you can do is do what you're ought to be. Purpose, listen to your heart. Everybody's got a nature's ability within them that is guiding them to success and fulfillment. Do the work that needs to be done by you. You have your calling, pursue your work. Knowledge is only power when it can be made available, practical. So many people accumulate knowledge, wisdom, they watch videos, read books and all this stuff, but they don't do anything with it. What I love doing is I've read probably over 1,000 personal development books. Now I've synthesized most of the books. And what's great about this now is when I read a book, I've probably heard 95% of the stuff before. But as soon as I come across a nuance, one nugget, one golden nugget that I haven't heard before, I directly apply it to my life. Then it becomes part of me. Then it's practically applied, and then that knowledge is embedded within me. This is very important. Self-confidence is a lever that moves the world. You can only rise to the degree that you believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have self-confidence, nobody else is going to have that around you. So believe in yourself, and when you believe in yourself, you're going to be rise to the front of success and prosperity. Civilization will mark its highest tide when every man has chosen his proper work. No man can be ideally successful until he has found his place. Every individual, including you, have a purpose within you. Your heart speaks to you. But a lot of the time, the voices, the opinions of the people, the places around us, they're telling us that's a stupid idea, you can't do that. That doesn't make sense, or maybe society doesn't approve, or your partner. And what that does is it suppresses our purpose. And when it suppresses our purpose, then what happens? We're not rising to our fullest potential, to our fullest success. Nature never lets a man rest until he has found his place. The world around you, nature is never going to let you settle or get comfortable. You're going to be uneasy, you're going to be unhappy, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be pissed off until you do the work that you need to do, until you do the work that you're being called out to do. This is so important. See, my calling is personal development, self-mastery. I love becoming the best that I possibly can in all my areas of life. And nature's not going to let me rest until I do that and continue to pursue greatness. And making these videos, personal development videos, pulling apart the greatest minds that have ever existed, is literally nature forcing me to do this. So it's important for you to do this. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to rest. It's so important to recognize that. Let duty be the guiding star, and success will surely be the crown, to the full measure of one's ability and industry. What career? What shall my life's work be? If instinct and heart ask for carpentry, be a carpenter. If for medicine, be a physician. With a firm choice and earnest work, a young man or woman cannot help but succeed. Do your work. Do your life's work, because if you don't, you're not going to succeed. Whatever you are by nature, keep to it. Never desert your line of talent. Be what nature intended for you, and you will succeed. Be anything else, and you'll be 10,000 times worse than nothing. Sydney Smith. I love that, because at the end of the day, you are a success or a failure to the degree that you live according to that inner voice, to your purpose. This is essentially what he's saying. Your talent is your call. Your legitimate destiny speaks in your character, right? So your talent is your call. That is what you're put on this planet to do. Right? Your legitimate destiny speaks in your character. So your character is made up by your thoughts. Your thoughts lead to your actions lead to your character, and makes up you as a collective individual. And that character that you have, your destiny lives in your character. So who are you by nature? Because that is where you're going to end up. Don't wait for a higher position or a larger salary. Enlarge the position you already occupy. Put originality of method into it. Fill it as if it was never filled before. In choosing an occupation, do not ask yourself how you can make the most money or gain the most notoriety. But choose that work which will call out all your powers and develop your manhood into the greatest strength and symmetry. Getting a position, getting a career isn't about how much money you can make. It's about what is going to call out the best in you, what is going to help you become your best. Part of our purpose statement in our business is empowering our people. That's one part of our purpose statement. Because for me, I love personal and professional development, and I want my team members to call out the best in themselves. And this is so important. So yes, money is important, but it's not as important as becoming the best individual that you possibly can become. If you are a master in your line, the world will applaud you and all doors will fly open to you. The person who is great at what they do, the world is going to come towards that individual and give them success. So whatever you do, be great at it. You have not found your place until all your faculties are aroused and your whole nature consents and approves of the work you are doing. Not until you are so enthusiastic in it that you take it to bed with you. See, you want to do work that pulls your brain, that stretches your brain to the fullest capacity. And when you do this work, this is going to arouse you and give you the greatest level of fulfillment. This is so important. And you want to be able to think about this all day and all night. Physical vigor is a condition of the great career. Your body is your temple. Treat it that way. And the more that you treat it with love and respect, the more successful and more to the front you're going to get, because the person who drinks on Saturday, Sunday, Friday is not going to have as much strength and vitality as a person who doesn't. So who's going to show up on better on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? The person who doesn't drink. And that person is going to get ahead in their career, in their life. Choose an occupation which will develop you, which will elevate you, which will give you a chance for self-improvement and promotion. Don't just get a job. Take the position that's going to call out all of your powers, your greatness. Power and constant growth toward a higher life are the great end of human existence, right? The people that are living the most fulfilled lives, the most successful lives, are the ones that are growing to the best of their ability. They're doing all that they can to be the best that they possibly can. And this is where success lies. It lies in doing all that you can every day to the best of your ability and your personal and professional growth. The successful men of today are men of one overmastering idea, one unwavering aim, men of a single and intense purpose. Scatteration is a curse of American business life. See, the people that become successful, the people that push to the front and that do one thing really, really well, and they have one goal, one objective, one purpose. What is my purpose? My purpose is essentially self-mastery. If you were to summarize it into one word, it is self-mastery. Becoming the best that I possibly can throughout all areas of my life. That is my purpose. So every day I'm working towards doing that. And the person who works on their purpose is the person who's going to become successful. The person who is distracted, focusing on 100 things at once, is going to end up nowhere. This is important to understand. Enthusiasm is being awake. It is a tingling of every fiber of one's being to do the work that one's heart desires. Again, pushing to the front is about doing what you love. And when you do what you love, what it does is you spring out of bed. You have a spring in your step. I've earned some good money now. I could sit on the sidelines, not potentially work and just relax, but that's a boring life. I spring out of bed because I love what I do. And that's important, and that's enthusiasm. The man who will not execute his resolutions when they are fresh upon him can have no hopes from them afterward. See, take action in the moment. This is really, really critically important, because ideas, opportunities, they only come to you once and you need to capture them. If you don't capture them, they drift away. So what we're saying here is you need to act in the moment. If an idea comes to you, act in the moment. To give you an example, there's US private equity coming to Australia. They're buying all these companies at the moment. And I thought, well, if US private equity is doing it, why can't I do that? So in that moment, I reached out to my business banker and I sent an email in that moment talking about acquisitions of businesses. And what's important about this is whether something happened from it or didn't, I acted in the moment. And by acting in the moment, I start the series of links that cause that thing to eventuate. But if you don't act, it disappears and nothing happens. So always take action on the idea when it comes up. Do instantly whatever is to be done and take the hours of recreation after business, never before it. If you want to play, play during playtime, but when you're working, it's go time. We express ourselves first in all our bodies. The outer condition of the body is accepted as a symbol of the inner. See, what I love doing is walking through the shopping center, and just by paying attention to an individual, how they hold themselves, how they walk, how they talk, their facial expression, I can see what's going on with inside them. And this is important because who you are as an individual, your health, your face, your skin, your body, your bedroom, your house, that is all a reflection of what's going on with inside. Get the inside right and everything else becomes right. One of the greatest investments one can make is that of attaining a gracious manner, cordiality of bearing, generosity of fearing, the delightful art of pleasing. It is infinitely better than money capital, for all doors fly open to the sunny, pleasing personalities. See, what I love about this is I've got a friend, everywhere he goes, he carries a smile on his face. And when he carries a smile on his face, naturally people want to come to him. He has this magnetism about him. And that's the thing, the person that has good manners, that is gracious, that is lovable, that is grateful, that is appreciative, this person, naturally people are going to want to support this person to help them realize their dreams. But if you're in the gutters, if you're negative all the time, who's going to want to help you? Who's going to want to be around you? This is important. So where's your mind? You must give much in order to get much. The current will not set toward you until it goes from you. About all you get from others is a reflection of the currents from yourself. The more generously you give, the more you'll get in return. If we focus on me, think about the area of influence. If you're focusing on yourself and yourself as an individual, your area of influence is only like this big, right? It's only a little circle around you or around you. But if you focus on serving the people around you, society, a nation, a country, the world, if you focus on service, your currents are going out and you're going to receive in return. This is important. This is like the law of attraction. This is service. This is very deep stuff here. So don't focus on me. That is a very small area. Focus on serving other people. And the more that we focus on service, the more returns we're going to get in our benefit. What you say and how you say it will betray all your secrets, will give the world your true measure. See, what is your internal, external dialogue? When I run interviews with people and I speak with people, I can tell where their future is going to end up based upon the words that they're speaking. Are their words lifting them up or are they pulling them down? So pay attention to the words that you use because your future lives in the words that you're using right now. Conversation is to the man what the cutting of the diamond is to the stone. The grinding does not add anything to the diamond, it merely reveals its wealth. The words you speak are just expressing who you are. It's so important. No man knows what he really possesses until he makes his best effort to express to others what is in him. See, again, and this is really cool here because I'm making these videos right now and I'm trying to express the best that I have to you to give you value and to serve you. But that is calling out in me the best that I possibly have. This is important to understand here, right? So when you're expressing to another individual through conversation, that is going to call out the best in you. So put effort into the way that you express yourself to other people. A fine courtesy is a fortune in itself. The good-mannered can do without riches, for they have passports everywhere. Again, the person that has manners, that is grateful, that is appreciative, that uses please, thank you, they're small things. But what happens is the doors fly open to these people. Eat at your own table, says Confucius, as you would eat at the table of the king. This is talking about your foundation. This is talking about your baseline. This is talking about your habits. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. So how are you presenting yourself? Because the way you present yourself now in private is going to show up externally. So put effort into the small things when no one's there. And as a result, when the opportunity presents itself to you, you're going to be able to grab that because people are going to go, oh, this person knows what they're doing. Very powerful. By teaching children early the arts of social life, such as boxing, horseback riding, dancing, elocution, and similar accomplishments, we may do much to overcome the sense of shyness. See, the challenge is what develops self-confidence, which develops self-belief, which overcomes shyness. We need the challenges. If we don't have the challenges, we're going to end up average in life. The challenges will develop resilience, and that resilience pushes us to the front. No one has ever done a great thing while his mind was centered upon himself. We must lose ourselves before we can find ourselves. If I focus on I, my area of influence is small. If I focus on we, it expands. Focus on the service, and the more that you focus on serving, the more returns you're going to get. No one ever does a really great thing until he feels that he is part of something greater than himself, until he surrenders to that greater principle. What I love about this is recognizing that the universe has a grand plan for you, right? One of my teachers says God stands for the grand organized design, right? What I love about that is the universe has a plan for you. And when you surrender to this plan, you're going to fulfill the greatest needs and you're going to have the greatest level of success, wealth, and prosperity. Character is power and is the best advertisement in the world. The way you speak, the way you hold yourself is going to reflect to the world around you. And with the way the world around you sees you is going to determine what you receive from the world around you. The law of attraction, very powerful stuff. What's going on through your mind? What are the thoughts you're having? What are you saying? What's your internal, external dialogue? We are so constituted that the quality which we put into our life work affects everything else in our lives and tends to bring our whole conduct to the same level. The entire person takes on the characteristics of one's usual way of doing things. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. This is very important. How are you brushing your teeth? How are you washing your hair? How are you making your bed? What about your bedroom? What about your house? What about your work? The way you do anything is the way you do everything. So pay attention to the way you do the small things because they're going to affect everything else in your life and it's going to determine the degree of your accomplishment. The introduction of inferiority into our work is like introducing a subtle poison into the system. I call it the weeds. If you allow yourself to slip once and then another time, all of a sudden a habit forms and this habit develops weeds throughout the whole garden. So don't allow yourself to slip. If you're not going to do something, don't do it off. But if you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability. Every bit of your work, no matter how unimportant or trivial it may seem, should bear your trademark of excellence. And why is that? Because they go, oh, hey, Simon, I love the way that you did that. And then they're going to call me to help them and serve them. This is important. So do everything you do to the best of your ability. John D. Rockefeller Jr. says that the secret of success is to do the common duty uncommonly well. Think about that. Something as simple as brushing your teeth, something as simple as writing an email, something as simple as writing a text message. Put effort into it. And if you put perfection in everything you do, the world around you is going to be perfect. Very powerful. If you make yourself first class in anything, no matter what your condition or circumstance, no matter what your race or color, you'll be in demand. So if you focus on doing everything you can to the best of your possible ability, you're going to be in demand. The slow penny is surer than the quick dollar. Delayed gratification, right? There's the marshmallow test. If you haven't read about the marshmallow test, I'd strongly suggest. But essentially, they had two controlled groups of children. They gave them marshmallows. The children that couldn't wait for the marshmallows and took them straight away versus the guys that could wait for the marshmallows. The guys that could wait and delayed the gratification ended up, when they tracked them through their lives, ended up becoming more successful and reaching greater levels in their career. So delayed gratification is very powerful in order to become successful in life. Opposing circumstances create strength. Opposition gives us greater power of resistance. To overcome one barrier gives us greater ability to overcome the next. See, the challenges you face in life are there to make you stronger. If you go through life with no challenges, you're not going to grow, you're not going to develop, you're not going to become your best. I love self-induced challenges or obstacles. Every day I love having a cold shower or jumping in the ocean, having an ice bath, pushing weights, having an uncomfortable conversation, whatever it may be, because these challenges make me realize, well, what else can I do? What else is possible within me? And this opens up the doorways to accomplishment, to achievement, to help you rise to the top. You cannot keep a determined man from success. Place stumbling blocks in his way and he takes them for stepping stones, and on them will climb to greatness. See, the challenges, they're stepping stones. For the successful people, they see the challenges as stepping stones on the path to their greatness, to their goal, to their ambition, to their target. Whereas the masses, the 99% of the population, they face a challenge and go, oh, that's too hard, and they become victims. We don't want victim mentality. We want victor mentalities. We want to be strong, we want to be powerful, and recognize that life is providing us these challenges to make us great. But if we don't recognize that, we sit on the sidelines, we be like the majority of the population. So if you want to push to the front, you need to embrace these challenges as stepping stones, because they're going to lead you on the path to greatness. Adversity is the prosperity of the great. Kites rise against, not with the wind. A kite would not fly unless it had a string tying it down. It is just so in life. So think about the resistance. If you do not have resistance, there will not be growth. The resistance causes you to grow and sail higher in life. From an aimless, idle, and useless brain, emergencies often call out powers and virtues before unknown and unexpected, right? So what I love about this is you could be average and a dramatic event happens which causes you to become great. So for example, whether it be about 10 years ago, I used to drink a lot, and I drank quite a fair bit in Indonesia. And I almost had a heart attack, and I really scared myself. I almost died. And at that moment, I thought there was a lot more to life than drinking, drugs, alcohol, sex, partying, and all this stuff. And I realized there is more to life. And this called out the best in me. Sometimes we need this to happen. Sometimes we need a death in the family. Sometimes we need to have a divorce. Sometimes we need to lose someone we love. All these things might need to happen in order to call out our greatness. We don't necessarily need it to happen all the time or want it to happen, but sometimes if that happens to you, maybe use that as an opportunity to become great. Boys who are bound out, crowded out, and kicked out usually turn out, while those who do not have these disadvantages frequently fail to come out. What I love about this is a child that is coddled and cradled and supported and nourished and nurtured their whole lives without any challenges becomes soft. And that softness, they end up being complacent and living on the sidelines. And that's important. It's important to understand that the adversity develops the character. That character creates your destiny. So challenge yourself, and don't be scared of that. If you have children, challenge them too. We need to give them the opportunity to fall, to fail, to move forward, to get up and do it again. Many a man has been lured into salvation. Again, struggles lead to success. Bankruptcy leads to success. Nature will chip and pound us remorsefully to bring out our possibilities. At the end of the day, everything is happening for you to bring out the best in you. Life around you is going to throw you challenges. Take those challenges as part of life. You're never going to get away from them. That is life. You've been born into this world, you need to accept it. And if you don't accept it, you're going to be constantly living in denial and regret and depression. Life has challenges. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. Accept them as part of life, and then you can get on living. The undecided man cannot bring himself to focus. He dissipates his energy, scatters his forces, and executes nothing, right? The people that don't get ahead in life are the ones who don't make decisions at all. They might take 10 years to make a decision. And if you take 10 years to make a decision, you might make 8 decisions in your life. And what's going to happen, right? Whereas the person who is successful, who pushes to the front, who gets to the front of the queue, is the person who is ready to act in the moment, make a decision, do it, make a decision, do it, make a decision, do it. Because even if they make mistakes along the way, they're still having more reps, more repetition, more repetition, more repetition, more opportunities to learn. How many hours have been wasted dawdling in bed, turning over and dreading to get up? And this is important. Are you sitting there on the sidelines being depressed about getting up for life? Because Again, the hour of power. What happens if you were to convert this time into reading or into exercising? Could that potentially change the course of your life? My belief is yes, it definitely could. The youth who would get on must keep his eyes open, his ears open, his mind open. He must be quick, alert, and ready. Again, we cannot be going through life like automatons, like robots, literally bouncing around in the world like a robot. We need to recognize that all around us, if we're listening and paying attention, there are opportunities and we need to act upon these opportunities. Don't wait for your place to be made for you, make it yourself. What I love about this is don't suppress people's potential. Don't suppress your own potential, right? If you're working at an employer, do the best that you possibly can, and all of a sudden, the doors are going to fly open to you. Positions are going to be made. You're going to be given greater opportunities. This is important to understand. Success is the child of drudgery and perseverance. Success is hard work and pushing through. It's not rainbows and butterflies. Every day you're doing your work, it's not going to be easy. Sometimes pulling apart these books, the greatest minds that have ever existed, is hard work. It cooks my brain sometimes. I'm like, whoa, like that is so deep. How can I translate this to help you understand, right? And it's perseverance. I need to persist. Because some of these messages, you're like, how do we pull apart this? How do we reinterpret this? How do I understand this? How do I synthesize this? Lucretius worked nearly a lifetime on one poem. So delayed gratification, take your time. There is no rush in order to do what you need to do. If you have your purpose, just keep chipping it away at it. These books, if I pull apart 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 books, imagine the wealth of wisdom I'm going to acquire. So fulfilling, so fulfilling. The great business of the master is to teach the pupil to teach himself. What I love about this is when we get mentors, when we join masterminds, when we have coaches, the goal isn't to make our students dependent. The goal is to make them independent so they can go and live with their life. That's so important. Show me how a youth spends his evenings, his odd bits of time, and I will forecast his future. Your future lives in what you do in your spare time. What are you doing in your spare time? This is very important to understand. So pay attention. If you're working a 9-to-5 job, what can you do 5 to 9 in the evening instead of wasting that time that's going to help you build the destiny that you want? Think about this. Thousands of men and women find themselves held back, handicapped for life because of the seemingly trifles which they do not think worthwhile to pay attention in the early days. A common one here, oh, it's only 10 minutes. It's only a conversation. It's only a cooler conversation. Like, again, these trifles of 5-10 minutes here or there, you think it doesn't do much, but over the course of the day, the week, the month, the year, your lifetime, think about how these things could affect you, right? Pay attention to the small things, because the small things actually make the big things. The big things don't come to fruition without the smaller details getting done. Few are willing to work underground for years, laying a foundation for the life monument. This is important because if you're not prepared to lay the foundation, a building can only rise to the degree of the foundation. This is why I love reading the greatest minds that ever existed. Think about the foundation, the depth of knowledge I acquire, and the level of depth builds the depth of the foundation, which means how high can I rise? Very powerful. Nature is liberal with us if we utilize what she gives us. But if we stop using it, we do not transform what she gives us into power. If we do not do some building somewhere, if we do not transform the material which she gives us into force and utilize that force, we'll not only find the supply cut off, but we'll find that we are growing weaker, less efficient. See, what does this mean? Is nature is going to give you everything you need in order to realize your dreams, to become a success, to push to the front, to become wealthy. But if you sit on the sidelines, if you don't act in the moment and make this opportunity great, what's going to happen is nature isn't going to continue to give them. They're going to dissipate, they're going to hide away from, going to be harder for you to find. So you need to act upon what you're given. And nature's going to support you and help you realize your potential. Nothing else will call out what is in a man so quickly and so effectively as to the constant effort to do his best in speaking before an audience. Public speaking. So what I'm doing right now is I'm learning to articulate my voice on video. And this is calling out the best in me. It's not easy. It's not easy to sound authentic on camera. I've been working at this for years and it's so hard to sound authentic, to be who I am. But public speaking, the ability to speak in public, calls out the best in you and also helps you to become authentic, because these are the people that rise to the top, the people that are the most authentic. The boulder, which was an obstacle in the path of the weak, becomes a stepping stone in the pathway of the resolute. I will find a way, or I'm going to make one. That is my life. I don't sit on the sidelines. If something needs to be done, I want to take action. I want to get it done. Get out my way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. That song, right? Get out the way. That is what my life is about. I want my dreams, and I'm not going to stop till I get them. The successful men live like that. They don't see a challenge that's going to cause them to sit in the corner and cry for a week on end. Okay, shit has happened. Oh, I'm upset. Wah, for a minute to a day. Boom, they move on. They get on with it. They do what needs to be done because they realize that these are stepping stones to the path. The world always stands aside for the determined man. This is the thing. Nobody can stop you if you're determined, right? If you are a freight train, how hard is it to stop a freight train? They're not going to be able to do it. They're going to need millions of people to stop you. We naturally follow the examples about us, and as a rule, we rise or fall according to the strongest current in which we live. Your environment, mastermind, the people you spend your time with. Who are you spending your time with? Because who you're spending your time with is going to lift you up or cause you to fail. Again, I mentioned this earlier. I live on one of the most expensive streets in Adelaide, which is a city within South Australia. Absolute beachfront. I'm surrounded by Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Porsches, Range Rovers, Mercedes. I'm surrounded by very expensive and very big homes. And I'm surrounded by these people that have this wealth of wisdom. And I'm going to rise or fall according to the environment I spend my time with. This is important to understand. Where are you spending your time? Because you're going to rise or fall according to your environment. It's important. Who are you spending your time with? Whatever you do in life, make any sacrifice necessary to keep in an ambitious, arousing atmosphere, an environment that will stimulate you to self-development. Keep close to people who understand you, who believe in you, who will help you discover yourself and encourage you to make the most of yourself. You'll catch a spirit that dominates in your environment. What I love about this is joining a mastermind, getting a coach, getting a mentor, joining a community. All these small things are simple. People don't realize. You might spend $10,000, $5,000, $3,000, whatever it may be, $100,000 on doing this, but you're going to catch the spirit of your environment, which is powerful. It takes courage to unmask your true self, to show your blemishes to a condemning world, and to pass for what you really are. It's coming back to authenticity. The world around you, they judge. There is comparison. All these things are the thieves of joy. But the person who is comfortable in their own skin and goes, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, they push the crowd aside and they do what they need to do and they become successful because they're authentic. Heaven aids those who help themselves. At the end of the day, if you're not going to help yourself, nobody's going to come around and help you. But if you're like, look, I am overweight, you accept it and you go start talking to people, people are naturally going to start to help you to lose weight. But if you're like, I'm overweight, but I'm not going to say anything to anyone and you don't want to try and change it, nobody gives a crap. That's the truth. You need to put the effort to help yourself. Otherwise, why are we going to support someone who's going to sit on the sidelines and not help themselves? The true way to conquer circumstances is to be the greatest circumstance yourself. The person in life who can rise up above their environment, they can start to create causes that affect their environment around them. This is very powerful. So if you understand that your environment, let's say you live in a poor suburb, your family's poor, nobody's earning money. But if you rise above your environment mentally, in thought, in spirit, you can start to speak and act in ways that cause you to change the environment around you. Then all of a sudden you move to a different area, a different house, different income. Small things make big differences. To succeed today, a man must concentrate all his faculties of his mind upon the one unwavering aim and have a tenacity of purpose, which means death or victory. Every other inclination which tempts him from his aim must be suppressed. What I love about this is purpose. What is your purpose? It's very, very simple. I say yes or no to things that align with my purpose. My decision making is simple. Does that align with the direction I'm heading in my life? Yes or no. Is that what I really want to do? Yes or no? But so often people say yes or yes to things that don't have any alignment with their purpose, and they get distracted and they end up where? Doing a 9-to-5 job that they hate. The man who succeeds has a program. He follows his course and adheres to it. He lays his plans and executes them. He goes straight to his goal. What I love about this is plans. You have your goal, you have your target. With no target, where you're going to end up? Nowhere. Have your plans and work towards them. Working without a plan is as foolish as going to sea without a compass. Listen to that. Atlantic liners do not stop for fogs or storms. They plow straight through the rough seas with only one thing in view, their destined port. And no matter what the weather is, no matter what the obstacles they encounter, their arrival in port can be predicted to within a few hours. Think about that. The captains, they have their destination and they work to it regardless of the challenges they face in the sea. The seas are rough, they are challenging, right? Doesn't stop them. They keep on plowing through. And this is important with you. You develop your plan, your goal, your dream, your ideal, and you work towards that regardless of what's happening in your life. The man without a purpose never leaves his mark upon the world, right? That's the thing. The person who doesn't listen to the voice within, doesn't pursue their purpose, doesn't pursue their calling, isn't going to inspire people, isn't going to make a difference. What ends up happening at best is they have a 9-to-5 job that they probably hate. So this is important. Patience is nature's motto. She works ages to bring a flower to perfection. Think about how long a flower takes to flourish. Think about a bamboo shoot, how long it takes to rise. All these things really help us understand that patience is a virtue and good things take time. The challenge we have in today's society with social media, we see the cars, we see the rich and the famous, which is all great, but how much work have they done prior to you seeing that, right? So often a person has laid a foundation, again, for 10, 20, 30 years to get to where they are. So it looks like overnight success, but the truth is they've been doing the work. Yes, there might be the minute population. I would say 1% of the population has it in them to be an entrepreneur, but of that 1%, maybe 1% become successful by a freak of nature overnight, whatever. But that is not common, and don't get blindsided by the bullshit of the fantasy. It takes work, it takes a lifetime. A large part of every successful life must be spent in laying foundation stones underground. Again, to the degree you develop the foundation is going to be to the degree you're going to be able to rise in the scale of success and push to the front. I cannot see that you have made any progress since my last visit, said a gentleman to Michelangelo. But, said the sculptor, I have retouched this part, polished that, softened that feature, brought out that muscle, given some expression to his lip, more energy to that limb, etc. But they are trifles, exclaimed the visitor. It may be so, replied the great artist. But trifles make perfection, and perfection is no trifle. That infinite patience which made Michelangelo spend a week in bringing out a muscle in a statue with more vital fidelity to truth, or Gerhard Dow a day in giving the right effect to a dewdrop on a cabbage leaf, makes all the difference between success and failure. See, good things take time. This is important to understand. Delayed gratification is very important. If you want to be successful, recognize that you need to do the work. There is joy, there is fulfillment in the journey. Life, we don't end up at some magical destination where you earn $1 billion and then all of a sudden it's rainbows and butterflies and yada, yada, yada. The fulfillment lies in what you are doing in this very moment in the pursuit of your dream, right? The fulfillment lies in the journey. Recognize that. Recognize that. That is where the joy is. The quality which you put into your work will determine the quality of your life. How you do anything is how you do everything, and how you do everything is going to reflect in your environment. So put quality into everything you do. Don't think too much of the amount of salary your employer gives you at the start. Think rather of the possible salary you can give yourself in increasing your skill, in expanding your experience, in enlarging and ennobling yourself. When I first, was thinking about business and starting a business, or even when I started my business, I considered going and working for other companies to understand the ins and outs of their business, to be able to apply that to my own business, right? So what's so important to understand is sometimes we need to make sacrifices in order to get ahead in life. Again, this is just very basic, but if you go to McDonald's, you might think you're only working at McDonald's, but if you understand what you're getting from McDonald's, the systems, the process, the structure, the business organization chart, how they do everything, it's going to give you the foundation to run any business you want in the future. The smallest people in the world are those who work for salary alone. Again, one of the questions I hate, how much money do I get paid? And that's all they care about, which I think it's important, it's relative, but for me, it's like, how much can I get you to express to become the best you possibly can? That is where that gets me off. That's what I love every day. I'm like, well, how can I help you succeed? Your achievement will never rise higher than your self-faith. So in life, self-belief, self-confidence, self-faith. If you don't have faith, you're not going to rise up. You need to believe that I can. And the person who thinks he can, and this is important to understand. He can who thinks he can, and he can't who thinks he can't. Because this is true. That's why as soon as I hear a seed of doubt in somebody's mind, I'm like, you need to get rid of that, otherwise you're not gonna be able to do it. So that's why I like people who have success mindsets. Right now we're changing our KPIs, some of our targets through the business, and you have some people that are like, oh yeah, that's fine, whatever. Whereas some people are like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Well, that's doubt. And as soon as we sow that seed of doubt, that brings forth weeds, and those weeds affect the garden. This is important. If you are ambitious to do big things, you must make a large program for yourself and assume the part it demands. So for me, I hold myself in this ideal, this manner, that this is the person I'm becoming. I really think about it and I believe it. And that's how I hold that part. Because you hold that part, again within, naturally the law of attraction is going to shape you towards that. Faith unites a man with the infinite. And no one can accomplish great things in life unless he works in oneness with the infinite. When a man lives so near to the supreme that the divine presence is felt all the time, then he is in a position to express power. And when we go deep into success philosophy, a lot of the most successful people in the world believed in this underlying essence or spirit or universe or God, whatever it may be, was within them. And they believed this power was connected to them. And the more that they believed and recognized and appreciated this power within them was the ability that they were able to rise up in the game of life. Because the more that you recognize your connection with this oneness, with this unity, with this power, the more power can be expressed through you and the greater that you can see it into life. The cause of whatever comes to you in life is within you. So the life that you have around you is just a reflection of what's going on within. This is important. Faith never fails. It is a miracle work. It looks beyond all boundaries and transcends all limitations, penetrates all obstacles and sees the goal. And what I love about faith is, and this is very much in the Eastern philosophy is like, I set an intention, I set this intention in the universe, I believe in this intention, and then everything's gonna come to me in perfect timing and I'm gonna be able to receive these things. And I love that. This is the law of attraction, right? And this is faith. To the degree that you have this faith in your ideal is going to be to the degree you're going to be able to draw these things to you. So you need to believe and have this faith And this faith is going to draw these things towards you. Resolve that you will close the door on everything in the past that pains and cannot help you. Free yourself from everything which handicaps you, keeps you back, and makes you unhappy. Throw away all useless baggage. Drop everything that is a drag that hinders your progress. End upon tomorrow with a clean slate and a free mind. See, if you keep reliving the past over and over again, what's going to happen is that's going to create your current and future reality. So it's important, if you've had trauma or bullshit going on in your life in the past, if you keep talking about that and reliving that, what that's doing is creating a story, and that story is going to play out and become part of your identity and your character, and that character is going to create your destiny. So shit has happened, accept it, neutralize it. This is the benefit of it. This is what I learned from that situation. Okay, X, Y, Z. Now let's move on. And by doing that, you can start tomorrow with no baggage that holds you back. The baggage holds you down. There are no fates outside our own mentality. We are our own fates. We control our own destiny. We control our own destiny. Think about that. Your destiny lies within here. Do not say, I shall be a success sometime. Say, I am a success. Success is my birthright. Think about what language you're using, because if you're using present tense language, I am successful, I am great, I am wealthy, I'm abundant, I am limitless, I'm unstoppable. These are very powerful words. If you're using these words, it's happening here and now, which draws things to you close here and now. But if you're saying in the future, when is it going to come to you? It's vague. The law of attraction doesn't work with the vagueness. It is the ideal that determines the direction of your life. What is your ideal? What is your ideal? Your ideal is going to determine where you end up in life. My ideal, if you could summarize it again in one word, it is self-mastery. Ultimate self-mastery. There are 7 areas of life, and mastering all these areas of life is essentially what I love. I love the idea of self-mastery because why? Because it's infinite. It's great. It's exponential. It's so powerful. Hereditary is a man's habit transmuted to his offspring. What I love about this is, whether you have children or not, the first 4 to 7 years, a child is a sponge. They absorb everything from their environment. This absorption of their environment, the suggestions, the influences, the comments are made, this writes a program within that individual. So whether you have children, the first 7 years of that child's life, you are writing their program. If you are an adult, the first 7 years of your life has written your program. A lot of the time, people end up in the deathbed still trying to unravel the programming that was developed in the first 7 years of their life. This is really important to understand. The people, I call it the multi-generational jump, that break free from this hereditary bullshit, this baggage from the parents, are the ones who recognize in personal development, they go, okay, I've recognized this within myself, now let's overcome this and let's deal with it, and let's move forward. Man's life is a masterpiece or a botch according to each little habit has been perfectly or carelessly formed. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. The way you do everything develops your character develops your destiny. Can you see how there's a theme that's unpacking, pushing to the front, getting you to success, getting you to the high life? Make the heart clean and the life will be clean. What I love about this is gratitude, love, appreciation, fulfillment, kindness, all these small things within, they make the world around you beautiful. This is so, so powerful. Love. Character is a record of our thoughts and acts. That which we constantly think about most, the ideals and motives uppermost in our mind, are constantly solidifying into our character, right? So the thoughts that you have turn to actions, and those actions develop your character. Your character creates your destiny. So pay attention to what's going on up here. Whatever we have thought or done will outpicture itself in the expression in the bearing. It will be hung out upon the bulletin board of the face and manner for the world to read. So your thoughts are going to express themselves in your face, in the way you hold yourself, in your clothes, in your house, where you live, your environment. Happiness is merely a result of the life work. See, fulfillment. I love the word fulfillment. Fulfillment is doing your work. When you do your work, you are wholesome. You are not lacking. You don't have regret because you are doing your work. There is no satisfaction like that which comes from the steady, persistent, honest, conscientious pursuit of a noble aim. A noble aim is doing your life's work. Do your life's work, and that is going to be the greatest level of fulfillment you'll ever have in your life. And it's important for you to listen to your heart and get rid of the noise, the distractions, the opinions, your family, friends, your parents, the people around you, all that shit. Get rid of the noise and do what you want to do. Beauty is a quality of divinity, and to live much with the beautiful is to live close to the divine. So there is this saying that the universe expresses and manifest everything around us, right? And this manifestation is beauty. And the more that we can recognize the beauty around us, the more close to the divine that we are. The more close to the universe we are when we can see the beautiful in everything around us. The world is full of beautiful things, but the majority have not been trained to discern them. Can you see the beautiful things around you? Are you appreciating the small things around you? Because if you're not, if you're getting so caught up in the bullshit, the drama, the day-to-day, you're not gonna be able to appreciate what life has to give. So really, put effort into appreciating the little things around you because it goes a long way. You'll find the whole world will change to you when you change your attitude towards it, right? The world is a reflection of your attitude. Put out good things, you're gonna get good things in return. Education means that knowledge has been assimilated and become part of the person. Again, when I read, I apply to my daily actions new things that I learn. Or I store it and I use it when it's called upon. This is important. If we're not using this information, it's going to disappear. Never affirm or repeat about your health what you do not wish to be true. If you are saying, I do not want to be fat, you will get fat because what are you focusing on? Not being fat. But if you say, I want to be healthy, I want to have vitality, I want to have strength, I want to have a great physique, you're focusing on what you want. Do not focus on what you do not want. I don't want to be poor. If you're focusing, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to be poor, you're going to be poor because that's what you're focusing on. But if you say, I want to be wealthy, I want to be wealthy, I want to be wealthy, that's what's going to happen. So pay attention to your focus, because where your focus goes, energy flows, according to Tony Robbins. A man cannot get the highest quality of efficiency into his work when his mind is troubled. The mental faculties must have been perfect freedom before they give out their best. What I love about this is dissolving the charges. You've had past bullshit, past baggage, past trauma, whatever it may be, someone's pissed you off, deal with it. What have you learned from this situation? How has this situation served me? What is the benefit of this situation? Really see how it's helped you in your life. And by doing that, you neutralize the charge, and then you can do, without any distractions or noise, the work that needs to be done. We're trying to be settled. We're trying to be poised. We're trying to be grounded. Clean your mental house before retiring. So, journaling, meditation, these are small things. I journal every night. I love it because I get off my mind what's running through my mind. This is very powerful. No one can become prosperous while he really expects or half expects to remain poor. So where your focus goes, energy flows. We need to focus on that what we want, and by focusing on what we want, that's what we get. But if we focus on not being poor, you're gonna become poor. So pay attention to which way your thoughts are going. The mother is the supreme shaper of life and destiny. The minds of children are like the sensitive plates of a photographer, recording every thought or suggestion to which they are exposed. These early impressions make up the character and determine the future of the possibility. You think about this, the mother or whoever spends the most time with the child is going to be literally shaping this child up for success or failure. This is important. So who's raising your child? Who were you raised by? Because again, the habits of this person are implanted onto this individual. That then develops their character and their destiny. Unless you are like the 5 or 1% of the population who recognize this is the bullshit that I caught from my mother, my father, my sister, my friends. I don't want to be like that, and then I choose to change. You need to decide, but a lot of the time, what you don't know, you don't know. So think about how many times people have spent their whole lifetime in regret, and they wake up, they're 70, 80 and go, fuck, I wish I changed that. You know, that was from my mother and that's ruined my whole life. And again, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to educate you to help you realize your best potential. The wife who wishes to hold her husband's affection, if he is ambitious, must continue to grow, must keep pace with him mentally. What I love about this is, as a relationship, we have two people within a relationship. We have two souls united, but we need to elevate. We need to expand ourselves together, because if we don't, a person's going to get left behind. So as a relationship, we need to be evolving. Doesn't mean that one person needs to be, fully wealthy and another person needs to be fully wealthy. One person could be fully wealthy, but one person could be financially, and one person could be fully wealthy within the family home, developing the foundation at home. This is really important to understand, but it's important for us to be growing and expanding our consciousness so that we rise up with each other so nobody gets left behind. Success itself is a tremendous tonic. The consciousness of perpetual triumph of conquering things is a great stimulus. Each success gives you a bit of a dopamine hit, and that fuels another dopamine, and it creates a loop. And that loop creates a habit, and it fuels more success. I love success. I love climbing to the top, because as we climb to the top, each little hit gives us dopamine. It's fulfilling, it's rewarding. And again, this is why there's fulfillment in the journey, not in the destination. Because in life, these little wins along the way are what keep life worthwhile living. It's so powerful. The happiest marriages are those in which the right of husband and wife to develop broadly and naturally along individual lines has been recognized by each. The noblest and most helpful wives and mothers are those who develop their powers to their fullest capacity. Again, it's very common. I'm not saying this is always the case, but for the father to be the provider and the mother to be the stay-at-home mother. But sometimes what happens is the mother can go and minimize herself to the father because the father's enjoying the income. But keeping the foundation at home is just as valuable as the father's ability to go and pursue that income. So it's important to appreciate both parts of the picture, because they're both needed to rise to scale. If my wife didn't cook beautiful food every day, raise my children, provide me support, provide me the love, I wouldn't have the strength, vitality to go and do what I do to provide that income. So we need both parts of the picture. One might produce financial, great, but also if the other person is looking after the lawns or looking after the house or building the foundation at home, it's just as valuable, and we need to respect and appreciate that. Beware of the little extravagances. A small leak will sink a big ship, Franklin. Again, if you waste $1, that dollar could be 1,000. That 1,000 could be 10,000. That could be your holiday. It's very important, or it could send your business bust. Pay attention to how you're spending your dollars. One of the primary elements of thrift is spend less than you earn, to save something, however small, from the salary received, to lay aside at regular intervals, when possible, some part of the money earned or made in provision for the future. In order to become wealthy financially, we need to save. And when we save, then we have the ability to invest. And when we have the ability to invest, we have the power of compound interest. So again, save, invest, wealth happens. This is very important to understand. The savings of money usually means the savings of man. And again, if you develop your financial wealth, that gives you the freedom to choose what you do. Very powerful. $1 saved is $1 earned, but $1 spent well and liberally is often several dollars earned. What I love about this is people go, oh, I'm not going to waste $10,000 joining a mastermind, right? But you spend $10,000, you join a mastermind, that gives you $1 million idea. Was it worth it? That is the question. I'm challenging you. Was that worth it? See, it's important. How are you spending your money? Because you might spend $1, but it might generate you 1,000 times that. So really pay attention to, is it an asset or is it a liability? Because if you're spending money on a course, is that a liability? Some people might go, oh, it's an expense, but is it really? Or is it an asset? It is an asset because it's going to grow. So pay attention to what your terminology is around how you spend money. A home without books and periodicals and newspapers is like a house without windows. I love books. My office is full of books. I love reading. I read a lot. At the end of the day, your books lead to greatness. It's going to push you to the front. Again, you have your hour of power. You read 1 hour per day for 7 days a week. Over the period of your lifetime, it is going to push you to the front. Don't underestimate the power of reading. Oh, it's so, so powerful. Where the heart is, there is the treasure. Where the ambition is, there is the time, right? So think about that. If you listen to your heart, that is going to be the greatest level of fulfillment you're going to have in your life. But what happens is that voice within your heart, that intuition, the guiding, your soul, the spirit, the universe, it's speaking to you, it's whispering to you, is getting clouded by the noise of the people around you. This is important. Your friends, your family, the people that you love, they cloud this noise. So get rid of that bullshit and listen to what it is that's going on within. And this is going to push you to the front. To get the most from your reading, you must read with a purpose. My end game is self-mastery. I love reading, so every time I read, I've got this pursuit of where can I put this in my filing cabinet within my brain. In their books, we find the authors at their best. See, when you think about an author, Orison Marden, he spent his lifetime, he wrote hundreds of books, he wrote so many words, but we can literally read one of his books and understand his whole life's wisdom. This is so important to understand. We find them at their best. Scattering one's forces has killed many a man's success. Get rid of the distractions. What is your aim? What is your goal? And work towards goal. If you don't have your goal, you're going to end up nowhere. What are you working towards? A millionaire pays a big fortune for a gallery of paintings, and some poor boy or girl walks in with an open mind and poetic fancy and carries away a treasure of beauty which the owner never saw. So even though you might have acquired wealth, financial wealth, and live in this beautiful house, the truth is, are you able to appreciate it? And again, I'm going to come back to, I live in one of the most expensive streets in Adelaide, a city within South Australia, right? Along some of the richest people within the state, within South Australia. But do you know how many of them go on the beach every day? Do you know how many of those have their blinds and curtains closed all the time? A lot of them. I know people that don't go to the beach every day or once a week. You live by this beautiful place and you're not even opening up the doors and allowing the air in. This is so important to understand because we need to be able to appreciate the beauty before us. Because you get wealthy and what? You're not going to be able to appreciate life. The more a man has, the more he wants. Instead of filling a vacuum, it makes one. This is important. As you get wealth, as you become successful, as you make more money, don't get caught in the trap of buying more and more and more and more. I can buy most things that I want, right? But the thing is, what's really important to understand is the more I buy, it doesn't make me more happy. It doesn't make me more fulfilled. It's just like, well, this is just more bullshit. The fulfillment lies in doing your thing. What is your thing? That is where you're gonna get the greatest level of fulfillment in your life, not by buying a house or a car, right? Guys, that was Pushing to the Front by Orison Marden. I hope you got value out of that book. We really went deep. And if you got value out of that, smash like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you again next week.